Hello and welcome to the show. This is Analytic Energy Agency. My name is Alexey Presnov, and today we will continue our reviews in English with regard to what is going on in Russia and Kazakhstan, some other countries. It's our traditional reviews in English. We do that every 3-4 weeks. Last time we met with you, it was beginning of the year, January 6th, while Russia was sleeping at that time because we have that holidays in the beginning of the year, every year, up to January 10th, I think. And then right now, of course, slowly Russia grinding the speed, picking up the speed of the business. And so there are some events which we are going to describe for you. And then we also will talk about Kazakhstan a little bit. For Russia, of course, the main event which we just can describe and can point out is the introduction of competitive market, the competitive market in Far East here. And this is a zone of Far East, which used to be completely under tariffs from the very beginning upon completion of reforms in Russia in 2008, 2010. And also two regions in first price zone, which is Europe and Urals. Also two regions here in the north of Russia. It's Arkhangelsk region and the Komi Republic. They also have been, under tariffs. It was completely fully regulated zones, and now they are linked to the rest of the market. And we can see here the prices. It January 27th, and we can see that there are. Today had market prices with balancing market. So we can see this price signals which appeared. And if we looked at these two regions, they completely plunged into the market. So it's fully open to market, and so the prices just reflect. As you see, they are a little bit higher than other regions here. On average, if we just look at average, I just reviewed some other days. Also, they are always showing a little bit higher prices. Why? Because the experience of not introduction the market, non-market relationship, it always leads to the situation when the generation is a little bit old, obsolete. There are no investment there, and therefore we can see here the prices are higher at this time. If we look at the Far East here, this zone, actually this the picture is a little bit it's incomplete in terms of, because here it's a mostly isolated zone here. And the market actually works here in this former non-price zone, Far East. It's Khabarovsk region here, and also this, actually three regions here: Khabarovsk and Vladivostok. Those regions have been subsidized. They were under tariffs for all this time, for all this time over, since, as I said before, since 2008, 2010. And also there are tariffs there, and now they have been, included into the market. But there are some peculiarities here. Because they didn't dare to, the regulators, they didn't dare to open up the market at full strength immediately, and they left tariffs for hydropower generation, hydropower stations, only 2.5% there on free market, but all those thermal stations which are bulk of the generation there on the Far East. They're completely open, and so those prices here, they reflect. Can see also they're higher than other prices. It's the second price zone. It's Siberia, but those prices are higher. The new ones, but they don't reflect actual prices for consumers because also there are tariffs for generation, hydropower generation, hydropower stations, and it constitutes about it's about 35% of the market, of the volume of consumption is under hydropower stations and tariffs. Therefore, actual prices here are lower. But anyway, we we can see here some price signals, and in fact, it was not expected. The prices are higher than it was expected, and there is a discussion in Russian market circles why it's happened like this, what the reasons for that. But so far it's not clear because it's just even 1 month didn't pass yet. In general, what we can state here, and we can just stress that even in the situation of geopolitical troubles, even in the situation of macroeconomic problems with a very high key rate, as you know, it's about 25% for central bank. Now the key rate, banking rate, and credit cost about 25 minimum, or 25-30%. Its usual price. Even in those conditions, Russia have decided to step forward and to go into the market, and that is good sign because, as I told before, there is some kind of mood and discussion is underway that in those conditions which are now the country is. Perhaps it's better to just to go into the kind of administrative system and to go away from the market mechanism just for administrative regulations. It's especially in investment process, because as you can understand, the investment process is completely at stalemate. That's due to because it's very difficult to go to the bank, take money, and then to create some kind of project which gives you this income and gives IRR higher than 30%. It's very difficult, because IRR is normally it's maximum, it's 15-20%, but there are some options which are under consideration, as far as I understand, to subsidize this bank rate and that kind of things. But this final solution, I think it lies with a complete reformatting the investment segment of the Russian market. So it's capacity market. As you know, we have capacity market where actually all those so-called DPM, it's capacity agreement, capacity delivery agreements. This main instrument which is being used there. And there is no uniform price for there with where the old generation and all those investment projects have this uniform price at the auctions. So there are many prices, multi prices auction actually, and there is no competition there. And of course, the problem of high capital cost is very persisting in Russia, and I think it was a very narrow window back in 2017, 2018, when the inflation was around lower than 4%. But right now, it's of course inflation is higher, and this key rate is very high. but our solution and our proposal to look at the problem from the side and to make the kind of create a situation when all this macroeconomic and geopolitical risk are taken away from the market and just formed in some kind of tax, and that will an additional payment for, like, global adjustment payment, for instance, in Canada, and that allows to in that situation it will allow to compete directly this old generation with the new ones. So technology will be developing and that kind of things. But so far, there is no solution, and so that's the situation of stalemate, stagnation on the investment segment of Russian market. Uh, if we look at Kazakhstan, what is going on in Kazakhstan? Kazakhstan is. Let me see this. Where it is? Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan is continuing to discuss why the prices for electricity are rising so high, so rapidly and so high. And I can tell you that there is some statistics already for 2024, and the prices for businesses went up there for 40%. Over 2024, year 2024. For if we talk about population, is about 25%, but there is a cross subsidies there, and therefore there is the prices for population is lagging behind for individuals, for households, it's lagging behind, but as you understand, the speed of the prices of the price elevation is very high, 40% yearly, and also in 2023 it was also about 25-30% for businesses. And now, but they didn't even start yet all those programs which they were talking about renovation of the industry completely. And as we said before, we have one of our video in English for that. There is a national project, so-called, where they're going to spend about 6.3 trillions of tenge, which is close to $12 billion to invest within next 5 years, to invest into the generation. And there are some projects of modernization there, also new generation, and that will double the prices at minimum. As minimum, it doubles the prices for electricity at wholesale level, because right now they have about 22 tenge per kilowatt hour. It's prices of so-called single buyer, so it's operational market, day ahead market, as they call it. And then about 2 tenge per kilowatt hour, it's a capacity market. But if they complete that national project, the prices are going to be about 2022 tenge per kilowatt hour at the level of capacity prices. So it will be doubled. It will be about 40, but then also there is inflation and the rise of network tariffs. So they will get prices close to 60. So if average price right now it's about and consumers and the prices for consumers it's about 30 tenge per kilowatt hour. It will be 60, 65, or probably even 70 tenge per kilowatt hour. So it's very high rise, and I think it's unacceptable politically and unacceptable, socially. And this is a huge and it's a vast danger for all the situation. like that. But what is being discussed there? They still want trying to blame Russia for very expensive import electricity from Russia, which is important, on the daily basis, actually. But actually, if we just look at the volumes of electricity, it's not so high. It's about for 9 months of 2024, it was just 3 billion kilowatt hours, and the total consumption yearly is about 110. So let's say for 9 months it's about probably 80 or something like that, 85, and only 3 billions they are importing from Russia. But if we talk about capacity, if it comes to capacity, every day in the evening in working hours, in working week, they have that kind of capacity shortages, and they import electricity from Russia, and it is higher usually than the prices which they have inside of Kazakhstan, domestic prices, and they blame Russia for some kind of elevated prices, which is not good, not kind of not brotherly, and so on. But the problem is that they don't understand how Russian market works, and I told them many times already, but still they continue to discuss this in those kind of publications, which is right now it's open here, where Minister of Energy explains why they are working together with Russia, and on some experts they just blame Russia. There's some kind of they said that there's some kind of shadow intermediary between this Kazakhstani government and Russia and Russian exporters and the Kazakhstani market, and therefore the prices are high. But what they don't understand, as I said, how Russian market works. And just briefly show you, just once again to make the statement, and to try to understand what the Russian market works like this. It has those graphs. We can see like for three regions. It's Center, South, and Ural, and we can see how this day-ahead market price is changing. And there is if you can see, there is a maximum, quite expressed maximum, especially on the south power system, because in south there is a lot of population, and population they just consume the electricity. If we just look at Urals, for instance, it's much more flatter because it's obvious there are a lot of plants there and factories, so they are working on 24 hours, and therefore these graphs are quite flat. And in this certain hour when there is a maximum of consumption, there is in Russian rules, capacity is being charged. Here you can see the price for electricity, how it's being changed within 24 hours. And let's say in the night it's about 1 ruble, and then it slightly goes at 6 o'clock in the morning. In the morning it elevates a little bit and becomes a little bit higher. And then there is a capacity charge. It goes up to 42 rubles. And also, it could be in the evening, and it depends on the region. And so, when Kazakhstanians, when they import electricity, because they don't plan very well their own consumption, their own the coordination of between the demand and production, and therefore they very often import at the hours which in Russia there is this charges for capacity charges. And they claim that it's about 40 tenge per kilowatt hour, which is 8 rubles per kilowatt hour. the price of capacity. Here you can see it's 40.42. If you just buy from one region and you just buy the hour when capacity is being charged, then the price would be for Kazakhstanians, it would be 40 to multiplying by 5. It's going to be 200 tenge per kilowatt hour. But they are being charged only 40, 45 tenge because they just coincide with those hours in different regions where Interral, the Russian exporter, buys electricity to provide Kazakhstan at those hours where they have deficit of capacity. That is why it worked like that. And instead of just thinking how to, to avoid this kind of situation, to make their consumption and production, some kind of coordinated with those hours of Russian, in the Russian regions, those peak hours in Russian regions, because it's predictable, especially right now when you have AI and so on. But they just continue to blame Russia for everything, and that is that is very strange sometimes. But we are trying to explain to them, and we'll be doing so in future. That is about it, and we will see how it goes. So the year just started, and I hope everything will be fine in all terms. And when it comes to geopolitical situation, there are some signs of going, which the things are going better, but we hope that it will be sooner than it normally those politicians and so on predict. Thank you for watching, and I hope it was interesting for you. And let's stay in touch and just go sign up to our YouTube channel and visit our the website. There are some interesting materials there in English. And see you next time. So long.